Hey, what's up? This is Khalid Glover, also known as Khaliq-O-Vision, and I want to welcome you back to another Google Hangout that we're having with myself, Dave, and a lot of the usual people that come in, and all the Pensado students, and those of you that get a chance to get on, those of you who are watching us in the replay and everything. Um, I wanted to do this, and we're doing this regularly. We had a hangout the other day, the day right after the Pensado Awards, the first Pensado Awards, and you know, I didn't get a chance to make it. Unfortunately, I was working that day, but I heard it was amazing. It was just off the chains, and so I wanted to have some people maybe share their experience of the awards with us, so we can live vicariously through you who got a chance to attend live. And, then we're going to talk about a couple other things today as well, just some general subject matter in the world of audio, mixing, recording, music education, a few other things. Got my boy here, Michael Taylor. He's a professor at is it Illinois? Is that what you said? The University of Illinois? Michael, unmute yourself for a second.
Yeah, I'm not a professor actually. I'm part of the staff there.
Oh, okay.
But I work for Northern Illinois University.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, we're gonna talk to you, get to you, and talk to you a little bit about some educational things. We got Jason on here. What's up, man? Jason's another educator on here as well. How you doing, man? Good to see you. Mike is muted, but Jason's coming on.
There he is.
Oh, there he goes. Okay, good, man.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, man, it's all good.
Yes, sir. Thanks for the invite, as always.
Oh, yeah. So we're just doing our thing, man. You may have to turn. I think I'm hearing some feedback coming over your speakers, so you may have to turn it down a little bit.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I was on the studio monitors. Let me turn the sub off.
No problem. And say we're just kind of doing a little free form today, and we're gonna cover a few different things. But in the Pensados students group, a lot of people were posting some stuff that they got a chance to see at the award show, and some of the other things. So any of you guys that may be on and watching us right now, or if you if you're in there and you attended the awards and you want to share some of your experience with us, come on in. I posted the link, so just go to the page and you can find the link. There's a link to come in and join us right inside and share what's up. And Dave, have you heard any more stuff about the event?
No, just reports from people that they had a good time. A lot of people got to see one another, and it was just a good hang all around.
Yeah,
I've seen some of the still images.
Yeah, there's some great images, and man, the people that were there, it was really cool that just a lot of people get a chance to be all in one space. Everybody's usually so spread out, and and we were talking about being cave dwellers before, so that was one time when everybody got a chance to get out of their individual caves and to get into one big, massive, universal cave of love. So that was cool. Everybody under one roof, getting a chance to hang out, and then other people who have maybe only heard about some of these people and read about them and learned tips and tricks to actually be in the same room with some of these people, and you've enjoyed their work and things like that. That's a big deal for a lot of people, because I know how I feel every time I get a chance. Once a year we always make sure we at least get to go to like NAM or AES or NAB or different little things like that to see people, and that always feels good to me. So I can imagine for people that maybe have never had a chance to personally get a chance to meet or hang out and just see people in their relaxed environment, just hanging out like ordinary people. A lot of people said that meant a lot to them to just kind of see that, hey, it was just a really cool hang, So, and Jason, you didn't get a chance to go, right, to the awards?
No, yeah, I unfortunately didn't, but it's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna make a plan to get out there for AES too.
Oh,
So
cool.
we'll see what happens. But I didn't get a chance. I gave my ticket away to another gentleman since I was a student, so hopefully he had a good time.
That's right. That's right. I forgot. So how come you couldn't go? You ended up having to
Family
work.
things, daughter's birthday.
Oh
The
yeah.
family, wife and the daughter wanted to come if I was going to go. So financially, that was just an impossible feat at that point. So, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
made a better judgment, and I made some money while I was here. So hey, it's not a total loss.
Always a good thing.
Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was the same thing with me and Dave. It's like, you've got to you got to put the certain priorities in front, and one of those priorities is when the cash is on the table, you got to make that happen.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, yep. So that's good, man. Good for you. And we got Joseph back. What's up, man? How you doing, Joseph?
Oh, I'm doing well, guys. How you guys doing?
You're good.
Everything's all good, man. Yeah.
You're looking good.
Hey, man. And that mix you sent me sounded really good, man. So I hope some of those tips that I gave you helped you out.
Oh, absolutely, and I really appreciate your time.
Cool, cool, man.
Taking the time to listen to it and give me some feedback. That was cool.
Yeah, yeah, but no, you had it in a really good place though. So it's just like it's funny because mixing is just after a while, once you've got a good strong foundation, it's just about minor stuff. Little bitty things that make all that difference in the world. And yeah, man. So it sounded real good when I called it up. I was like, okay, yeah, he's right there in the box. So I just need little stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
That was a challenging mix.
without a doubt.
It was.
Um, what was some of your observations on that?
It's a little bit had a little more heavy editing than I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
I spent I think I told you last time, 7.3 hours.
Right.
I keep a time log, even when I'm doing something for practice.
Oh,
Just
really?
so
Okay.
Yeah, it's I got a little plug-in about 3 years ago, and it just goes on one of the spots, and you click on the plug-in, and it brings up a clock, and you hit pause when you walk away or take a break, and then resume, and it will just keep a tally of how much time you spend on a project. And it kind of helps me for when I look at something, especially a few years back when I needed to price something.
Oh,
How
yeah.
much did I want to charge, for something, right? But
Yeah.
I spent that much time editing, and then about 3 hours trying to get it to sound right. I have my biggest problem is, first of all, when you enter a competition, I mean, I really know nothing about that, so I listened to some other people's stuff, and man, they were like pushing radio ready type mixes. I'm doing the mix, it's -6 dB, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to push it, I'm let another guy finish it. He does the mastering.
Right.
When I open up a mastering project, it's hard. I have a really hard time stepping out of that mix mindset and just making that and mastering a song. I have a hard time with that. I have a hard time getting that mastered song to sound like my mix.
I got you.
You follow what I'm saying? In other words, it changes. And sometimes I understand that's because of volume balance. Like if the kick drum's too loud, well, maybe it's because I made it too loud. And now that it's hitting a limiter, now that I'm turning it up really loud and it's hitting a limiter, I'm hearing all that stuff that maybe I wasn't hearing.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But, that was my biggest issue with it. I think I sent, I did about 4 different copies, changing the curve on that Waves L316.
Mm-hmm.
That's a heck of a program. And I just hit preset, master number 1, number 2, number 3.
Close and then,
yeah.
Then
To see what
it.
kind of worked, but none of them sounded the way I wanted it to, and then trying to change it to have it still sound just like the mix. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
I put 2 copies in the mastering program, and so I can refer back to my mix in case I start getting off on some wild goose chase, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes I get, you know, deaf.
Yeah,
I get deaf
yeah,
to what I'm hearing, you know what I mean? I don't hear the words anymore. I just hear what's playing, you know.
yeah. Start getting diminishing returns. Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, right.
One
Yeah.
of the things I don't know, one of the things that helped me out with that, because I'm not a mastering guy whatsoever,
Mm-hmm.
and this technique, I don't know, people swear by it, people will talk crap about it, but I've taken a technique and where, because I was like you, where I was just fighting with the mastering process and my mix changing, is mixing into a limiter. And the way I set it up is it'll all end up going out of the knees, or going out to the knees, and I'll set a moderate threshold. Sometimes I'll put threshold and output -6, -6. So it's really not doing anything. And by the end of the mix, if it's touching the limiter, it's cool. I'll just back it off. That way, when I get into a mastering process, when I'm just going to send out a mix for people to reference and approve it, then I'll just put on a slate or an L2 and just make it louder with no limiting. You know what I mean? So anything that you're mixing to, you'll hear the changes. When I first started it, I would do the mix and then go to the mastering thing and start cranking the limiter, and then my vocal balance would change. And I'm like, that's not right. So I started setting up my limiter chain on my master bus, period, mixing into that. So when it was time to make it loud and send it off, there's some tweaks that you have to do, but it pretty much sounds exactly like your mix, just louder.
Yeah, exactly. That's a smart way to do it because, you want to build your mix where it doesn't rely on having to have that on. But let's face it, these days, competitive sound is about getting it as loud as it can be without it, getting obnoxious, And so it's a fine dance in getting your mix to have the energy that it needs so that when you take the limiter off or on, it doesn't change your balance and your frequencies and all that. It sounds the same. It sounds like your mix, but just louder, as opposed to all of a sudden all your relationships to each other are completely different as soon as the master compressor and limiter is put on the stereo bus.
Got it, right.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I might revisit that and do exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, I set up a master bus exactly, and I think I'll have an EQ, maybe a bus compressor, but the limiter is allowed. I set it, and I leave it alone for the entire mix, and I just mix to that. And then when it's time, it takes a little bit of time to kind of, you want to cheat and you want to go to the master and tweak knobs, but I think in the end, it works for me. You know what I mean? And because I'm just such a rookie mastering guy, you know what I mean? I've had jobs where I was like, people would hire me to master, and because I just had no experience in it, they ended up saying, "Oh, I like the sound of the mix better." And so try it. One of those things when you get some practice time, or like it was you said you were doing a competition thing. Yeah, try it out. See what happens.
Yep.
Well, it's definitely, it seemed I only listened to a couple of the cuts, and it wasn't. They weren't right off a mix, at least the way I mix. My mix is not radio ready. That's just not how I do it. There's a guy down the street. I give him the mixes. He masters them, and it works out great. We got a great relationship. And he likes them at least 4 to 6 dB under zero, so he has room to play in case I don't have anything, exactly the way he feels it should be, But I'm going to give that a try.
Yo, man, what is that you got in your hand?
Well, this is like a squeeze thing.
No. I meant the other thing you had.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
This is a vapor.
Oh, okay. I thought you was about to trim your nose hairs or something. I didn't know.
There you go. That's cool. No, I
right.
wouldn't do that in front of you. You know, you don't need to see that.
Yeah,
Just
he's cutting edge, man. That's the new thing. The vapor is old. It's the nose trimmer that's coming around the corner.
oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, man.
I
Boy.
see. That's cool. I'm glad you got me up on that. You know.
Uh, hey, Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit because everybody else is, been here and real familiar. This is your first time joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, let's talk it out a little bit about what you are looking to do because you're an educator as well.
Okay, yeah. I've been doing music for a long time. I started playing music when I was a kid. So, and then let's see. I also had a kind of interest in technology and electronics. So those two things have kind of been the two worlds I work in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I did some when I finally got into college. That's when I started to do more with music and then music technology. So when I came to Northern Illinois University, initially I got into their computer music program, and I learned quite a bit there about recording and digital signal processing and composition and doing a lot of the creative stuff. Uh, and then and then when I started to get toward the end of my school work, I needed to figure out a way to make some money. So I started doing stereo live recording for students and faculty around the school and around the area. So I did that for a few years, and I still do that off and on when I get opportunity. Then at some point I had a chance. I started working full time for the university, and so I so now my main job is I do a little bit of computer technology stuff, and I also do AV work for the university. So we do a lot of lecture capture, similar to what we're doing here. We do like broadcasting for some classes, and some teachers want to do that. And also we also work with some outside clients.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
so yeah, so yeah, so my background in audio has helped with that quite a bit because you get a lot of situations where you got to walk into a terrible environment and figure out how to mic people. Luckily sometimes we can use wireless lav mics clipped on. That works really well. But then trying to get like audience members to participate, a lot of times they won't work with the microphone. If you put it out there, they won't use it. But we're trying to like document this, so figuring out ways to mic a room up and things like that have been kind of a challenge.
Well, tell us a little bit about some of the solutions that you come up with when facing that challenge. I know exactly what you mean. Me and Dave have been through that many times.
Yeah, because I think what happens is if people seem to associate the microphone with like a PA system. So if you're not using a PA system, they don't understand why the microphone's there, but we're recording or streaming, or it's like, hey guys, use the mic, but they won't.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, some simple solutions I've done is just a decent condenser somewhere in the middle of the room, and you just got to fade it in when you need it and pull it out. I mean, it's usually not the quietest solution, but you can get away with it. I've got sometimes I'll use a stereo pair if I'm dealing with like a group of people. There's a few ways to set that up. I usually now when I recorded classical music, I mostly use the ROTF near coincident pair.
All
So
right.
they're kind of spaced apart a little bit. I found that worked really well with music, especially live classical music and chamber music, stuff like that. But for this, I'm mostly using the XY because it's better mono compatibility, because a lot of this stuff ends up being mono or streamed out on one channel, so that helps.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And what about what size crowd are you usually on average having to capture?
It's anywhere. I've done things where it's me and one other person, so they're just streaming out, and I'm there to facilitate that. Or it could be a room with like 50 people in it and 3 or 4 presenters,
Mm-hmm.
or even bigger. Um, So yeah, it's always a different challenge, and it's I got to work with what I got at the school. We don't have like full, like I don't have a mic closet or anything. I got a few mics. I actually bring a few of my personal mics around just in case, because you never know what you're gonna run into.
So what does your portable kit look like?
For the lecture capture, I've got a couple, and these work really. I was surprised how well these are working for me, and they're really inexpensive. So it's kind of cool because if they get destroyed or something, I'm only out a few bucks. And I'm trying to remember. They're Equation Audio. I don't know if you've heard of this company. I think they're.
No, I haven't.
But I picked up a couple of their small condensers. They're electric condensers. They're really small. I think they're really similar to the CAD C9, probably, if you've seen that one.
Yeah. Equation Audio, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Equator Audio.
Equator. Okay,
Equator?
well, yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's basically
That's
the
right.
people who used to be that same company.
Okay, I know who you're talking about then.
So yeah, I got a couple of those for $50 or something, maybe less. I can't even remember. It was really cheap.
Okay.
And they work really well for speech because they're not as they just pick up human speech pretty well. So putting those like in an XY in front of a panel of people at a table, it's great. Picks them up great. I haven't tried them on any musical applications. I have a feeling they probably wouldn't be that great on that.
How are you actually capturing? You using a field recorder or computer into an interface or a portable? What are you using?
Yeah. Well, if I'm only using those two mics, I run those. I have a pair of DBX channel strips. I'm trying to remember what they are off the top of my head. But they're basically DBX channel strips. They have a expander compressor.
Yeah, I know which ones you're talking about.
186 or something like that. I can't remember the exact number on them.
Yeah.
Go into that, come out of that into a small USB mixer, and then I take the USB out of the mixer to a computer for the streaming channel, and then I usually do a backup recording. I used to do it to mini DV tape, but we moved to digital, so now my backup recording is on I have like a Tascam portable recorder that I come out to that for the backup. So usually I don't need that because if everything goes well, the stream is recorded and that's the final product. But just in case I have the.
So you guys are doing live streaming?
Yeah. Usually it's live.
So what service are you using to capture the stream?
We use Adobe Connect. I'm actually the server administrator for the Adobe Connect system at NIU.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I have to do everything. But anyway, it's cool because I know what's going on, but with it from, all the way from the front to the back. But yeah.
How do you like that? Because Adobe Connect has been around probably longer than almost any of them, but it kind of fell back a little bit, compared to some of the newer solutions that are out. So how do you like using that right now? Because they've definitely been around a long time. I remember that was one of the first ones I used to look at. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. We started using that about 2007. And so, it's got some, pluses and minuses. The audio quality is not that great. There's some issue. You got to really watch the level. I think somewhere between -18 dB and -12 dB. If you start getting over that, it starts to distort the signal.
Oh, really?
It's not terrible. Like an average person probably wouldn't even hear it, but I hear it. It just starts to. I think it's either. I think it's a bit of just. It could be some aliasing happening actually, because I did some. Frequency analysis, and the bandwidth on it pretty much stops at about 7.5K. So anything above that is not really alias back into the system, especially at louder volumes. So but if you keep it in that range, you get the best results. And I guess the best thing about Adobe Connect is that we do a lot of slideshows, like PowerPoints and things like that. So I can actually stream a really high-res PowerPoint because it sends it out with a high resolution but a low frame rate. so you can preserve the text and everything looks crisp and nice. Whereas if you try to do that through just like a video stream, it would be trashed. So I can run a video stream of the person, and then alongside that, this high-res slide stream. So that works really well, yeah, for that.
And how is it for streaming audio?
It's okay.
Not just speech. I mean, like music and things like that would require a little more.
We don't do much of that, so I can't say much. I mean, it's like I said, it does. I'm sure there's better solutions for that. Now, especially now, there's so many things going on. I've been experimenting with some other things.
What are some of the other streaming services you've been using?
For a while, I was using what's it called? I use so many things I can't. It's like Airtime. It's a Airtime. It's like a radio service, open source radio platform. It's built on top of like Icecast.
Okay, yeah.
And basically, Airtime just lets you do the scheduling and programming and put the media in there, so you can create like automated playlists and all these things. I was doing that for a while, and that was pretty cool. And then
this is just audio streaming, no video streaming. Right?
Yeah, just audio. So it's kind of like you can build your own online radio station with it.
Right,
so
right. What about Live 365 and stuff like that?
Yeah, I've heard of that, but I haven't worked with it. So, and Mixler is another one that's kind of a free service out there that I've played with a bit, and I mean for free.
Shoutcast and all them. You mess with Shoutcast?
Yeah, a little bit. I think I worked with Icecast more, which is basically the same kind of thing as the radio part of it, or the repeater part of it. But yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So lots of toys though for that kind of live streaming stuff.
Yeah. Hey man, Dave just got a chance. He's been playing in the playground and setting up some stuff to be able to do some live streaming and podcasting and radio and all that. Dave, I went over and visited him, and he got everything all tied in and everything. This guy's been putting stuff together that's like, man, how are you doing all this? But the place is going to be so much fun. Tell us a little bit about the spot you've been working on.
Yeah, it's basically it was originally going to be a podcast studio. It still is, but we had moved the locations at a facility we were building, and so we ended up putting it in an isolated office. But we assembled with part radio station gear and part, we're using one of these little what is the name of the Audio Arts radio consoles? And basically they're multiple routing consoles that allow you to bring in, I think we got like 12 inputs, and we can pre-assign to groups, and interesting mixers because they're not traditional mixers like you and I know where they have audio jacks on the back. Everything they do is with Ethernet. So you bring your signal into the board, and then in order to bring it from the preamp to the fader, you've got to do an Ethernet patch. So it was a very interesting way to get around. But I got the hang of it. The metering is really great, and it's a really good situation. So we're basically submixing. It allows us to basically do a talk show kind of format. We've got a 4-line call-in analog box by Telos, and it's the basis of any kind of show that you want to do where you've got call-in audience participation, and then if you want to add cameras and do that, that's the next place we're at right now. So we just finished an audio test today where we actually recorded 5 principals in there having a conversation and having a formatted show, and that went fine. And so the next time we do it, it'll be probably call up Khaliq, call up Bill, a couple other people, and we'll implement an actual show with camera to see the capability if we have any lag or delay or anything. So it's just a matter of testing. And the reason why we have to test is because when we originally put it in, it was in another location on the property. So we had all the really high speed lines put in there. When they decided to move, they moved us to a regular side of the building where there aren't any high speed lines, so we're using regular lines.
What's the upstream?
I think 100, it's just a basic, basic Time Warner Connect,
Mm-hmm.
Time Warner Business Connect. So it's not doing anything at all. But so far so good. Today I was also able to implement a Google Chat, which was really good. We didn't have any problems. Sometimes when I'm on here, my thing conks out, but it went really good. And I was actually talking all the way to Israel, so it was really good. So it's,
cool.
but I've learned a lot because we think we know signal flow, and it's interesting with a radio setup like that. You don't have some of the luxuries. So it's not like we got plug-ins and this and that. You're basically going from the microphone to the input of the mixer, from the to which is the preamplifier, and then from the preamp you're going to the fader. So it's really about gain staging the whole thing. Radio, to have a really nice setup, you basically are gain staging all of your characters, all of your vocal characters, so that you got nice, rich, thick signal, and everybody sounds normal, and nobody's booming over anybody else, and you're picking up the conversation without picking up all the other artifacts in the room. So it's
a purest signal flow too, because it's gain with wire. Wire with gain, right?
Yeah, you don't get any purer than that. So it's and it was interesting to take it and then record it and then listen back. In the first time we recorded, well, we had Pro Tools, we had everything you record on, so I ended up recording in GarageBand.
Mm-hmm. Just
because I wanted to break it down to the simplest elements and just pick it up in GarageBand. But it was really good. It was really good.
Cool. Well, yeah.
So next time when we do it, we'll record it, and then we'll have more cameras set up so you guys can see it, and we'll show you around.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. Yeah. I got a chance to go over there and hang out with him when he was working on this. He's literally hand wiring all the connections, because like you said, it's not where you just plug in standard XLRs and everything. He's got a breakout box that has to go into custom-made Ethernet connectors and all this, and I was like, okay, man, that was no joke, man.
No, even on a small setup. But what the good thing is, it tests everything, and sometimes you get complacent in thinking better because audio, because all these sophisticated things, and in the end, it's really about the task. If we think about it, radio in its format was so ahead of everything else, because when you have multiple people at a radio station, it's before, you have to imagine, before the ease of having a camera and seeing everybody. To have a multiple conversation happen over analog lines is not an easy thing. Right. To do it over analog phone lines was not an easy thing.
Not at all. Yep.
So and Khaliq knows what I'm talking about. He's been through several different variations of dial-up codec that he's used to get to the point where he's at now. So it has been a challenge just to kind of deconstruct what I know in order to get to a very simple solution of in-out, signal gain stage, and believe you me, gain staging helps, because some of these consoles you have to set the meter level, you have to, with a little tweaker screwdriver, and you have to set the input of the preamp. They don't give you controls on the front because radio things are set, and then that's it. They're left alone. So they don't put controls right in the front. They put controls where they're hard to get, so that once you set it for a person's voice or for the station and for proximity where everybody's at, the microphones, it's set. And you're not going under there turning it or doing anything. You got to remove the whole mixer to get to the actual pot that you have to turn to make the adjustment. And the same thing goes for metering. It's very important in all this stuff to pay attention to the metering. Metering has always been important no matter what.
Absolutely. Yep. That's interesting, man. Well, yeah. You guys, it's a very different setup. I was really very surprised, because even I've seen a few different things out here, but I had never seen anything like that, so I was pretty surprised, and it sounded good, so I can't wait to hear the final deal once you get it done. So. Yeah,
the only thing that happened today is he had a phantom noise. I couldn't figure out for the life of me where it was coming from, and then I looked up and I forgot that they put us in an office suite. So in the office suite, right in the middle of the room, fluorescent light.
Oh yeah.
So it's no matter what, I'm like, okay, we got to take that out of here, But yeah, man, it'll challenge everything you know.
Yep.
You got to chase down noise. Even chasing down noise in a studio like that is totally different from chasing down noise in a recording studio.
Yeah, because you got a whole facility that is multi-purpose. The person that's in the building above you, the room above you, could be affecting your stuff, and because they got a whole different thing going on.
Yeah, we had the suite next to us had somebody put the air conditioner. It was very hot out here today. Somebody put the air conditioner on 67 because they thought it would get cool real fast, right?
Yeah.
So you know what happened.
Well, we're locked up.
Line freezes over. All of a sudden, a couple of people's suites are dripping. You're like, where's that water coming from? I don't know. And then
my goodness.
You go up there and see, okay, somebody's cranked the controls,
Yeah,
but that's exactly it. When you have multiple use facilities, you have all these things that can occur, So it's been a challenge, but it's been good. I like things like that kind of push the limits of what you know, and then it kind of challenges you to not always think everything is going to be as easy as a recording scenario, quote unquote, or a studio scenario.
Yep.
We deal with those all the time. So you throw somebody a Mackie, they'll understand how to gain stage their way out of it. You throw somebody any one of these utilitarian mixers that we use or anything, you'll pretty much figure out how to get your nice, rich, thick, clean sound and how to get the noise of the product down to an acceptable level. Yeah. But man, when you go in here with some of these pristine things, and Audio Arts has been making consoles for a long time, so they make a really good radio board.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's funny because I had never even seen that, like I said, ever. It's a whole different world, so you forget that, there's a whole nother world out there, a whole different range of equipment that we have no clue about in, our industry. So.
Especially when you think about the microphones, when you're dealing with gain staging, that's when you really hear the characteristic of a microphone and the characteristic of somebody's voice. Because radio people and people who are vocal, what I call vocal artists, not necessarily singing, but people who do voiceover work, they're very particular about their microphone because they understand what their voice can do. They understand the qualities and characteristics of all the microphones. So it's very interesting when you're on a system like that to try some microphones because you'll hear the actual texture and quality of what makes that mic that mic.
Oh yeah, man. I was gonna ask Michael something, but it slipped my mind on it, so I'll go on.
I had a question.
What was that?
I had a question for Jason. What at your school? What streaming services are you using?
We're not actually using streaming services at this time. There is some curriculum being written that's going to allow us to go online. Any kind of streaming services right now are to be determined. Whenever the board gives us the okay, and we start flipping a switch, I'm sure that information will drip out. But outside of the Google Hangout or the using what Avid uses, like the gentleman was talking about, the Avid the Connect platform.
Oh, okay.
The Adobe,
that's pretty much it right now. But we're not an online institution as of yet.
That's the wave for the future. Everybody's gonna definitely have to do that real soon. But it seems to me like Adobe does have a lot of educational institutions that are on their network more so. I noticed that. But they've been around the longest too.
Yeah, every streaming service has its issues, but from my experience, I guess same thing goes though. The streaming service is only as good as the network administrator.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So the network administrator and then your up speed.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. I was just looking on here. On this day in 2002, 3 diners at Britney Spears restaurant got food poisoning.
Oh
Sued the
my
heck out of
God.
her. They're like, we'll never go there again. So I didn't even know she had a restaurant. So I guess
Well, you got
that
a
didn't
book of
last.
funky facts.
Yeah, I'll just call it. I said, let me look and see what happened today. I like to look at this every now and then.
That's funny.
Yeah. Oh, they must have got paid, and it must have got shut down.
Hmm.
Yeah. I had sent Bill. He's not. He may pop in, but he's actually recharging himself now because you know how he is. He goes with all cylinders going until he drops. So he finally had to drop for a little bit, and so he's just going for a while and everything. And I said we'll carry this on and make it a shortened to the point, sweet one. So we got who somebody else? Oh, MT got on here. Got another person. What's going on, man? We see your picture, but we don't have
Frozen.
any audio yet or video.
Did you get to the award show, MT?
Think he's still trying to get set up and get
Oh,
it on. So I don't know if you're aware of how to do this, man, but up above there's a bunch of icons at the top. One is called settings. It looks like a little gear. It's right next to the telephone icon, right next to the little red telephone icon. There's one that's for settings. Open that up and check and be sure that your video camera is selected for your video. Make sure your microphone is selected towards whatever your system mic or USB mic or whatever you're using, and then the output. Oh, sorry, no mic or camera.
okay.
Okay. All right. Well, he says sorry he doesn't have no mic or camera, but he really enjoys the hangout. So you don't have any type of USB mic or anything, huh? That's a shame. Well, I'll tell you what. If you want, man, you got the chat box. I see you know how to use that. So just if you want to ask us something or type something in, say what's up to everybody, feel free. And Dave typed in where you at, so that's one of the things. Let us know where you're joining us from. Oxford, is that Mississippi? Yes. Okay. Oxford, Mississippi. Where's that near? What part of Mississippi? What's north near Memphis? Okay. Yeah. Um. And yeah. So we're kind of translating because we're dealing with the chat and just telling you what's being written in there, in case you're wondering. So and I assume what do you do in music? Are you an engineer, producer, musician, all of the above, or whatever? And then the other thing is when are you getting at least a USB microphone? You got to get a USB microphone. And in fact, the computer that you're on, don't you have an analog microphone built into your computer? Most computers usually do. You should have. I would think that you might have at least a microphone, if not a camera. And if you got a microphone, see if you can select it so we can hear you. That way we could,
No mic or camera. I would get one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, get your little USB, USB one, man, and hang out with us and everything. But yeah, guys. Any other little breaking news of any new stuff come up or anything like that? Anybody got
I got a question.
What's up?
What is I just wanted to get some general feedback. What are some things that everybody would like to see? Like some of you guys have been coming for a little while. What are some of the topics you'd like to see covered, or some of the information that you'd like to get aside from what you get from what brings us all together, which is everybody, kind of follows Dave's show and what's going on in the different sites. But what are some things that would help you guys as far as information,
I don't know. Maybe a hangout where we can, I guess, screen share or look at sessions and discuss techniques, some hands-on stuff. We can talk about it all day, but put it into action with you two there.
So when you say sessions and techniques, do you mean like miking techniques? Do you mean like session?
Yeah, it could be mixed. It could be
more
anything
for
session
mixing.
management to, hey guys, user X has an issue. Let me pull up my session and show you what's going on.
Right.
It could be a technological
Examples. Yeah.
So kind of more like we was doing before when we were like when me and Bill were showing you guys some different things, and we take you into our Pro Tools sessions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then you now, do you have the ability to get on with your computer? Because we could be doing that anyway. The biggest problem, reason why we haven't expanded on that further is because pretty much it's only been me and Bill that's known how to get it into this Hangout.
What do? Use Soundflower or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't have it installed on the system that I'm on right now, but yeah, I'm familiar with that. I could probably get on something like that, and
we should try it one day and just get you in, and let's get you in, because I think that would be great. So that's the only reason why we haven't done more of it, is just because everybody has technical issues with getting it going. And so what usually happens is I end up they'll send me a stereo thing and just ask me to play that over.
Okay.
But it'd be better if you can get your system hooked up into there, and then we can see directly from your computer and hear it directly from your computer.
Yeah, I can definitely do that. Next hangout, I'll at least I'll go ahead and put Soundflower on my computer after this hangout, and test it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you on a Windows or Mac?
Oh, Mac.
Okay, good. Okay. Cool. And then the other thing is if you have any issues, then you can simply always just play it live in the room. Just let your mic pick it up too. That's another option. I mean, it ain't as good, but that's better than nothing. But if you ever want us to just go through and discuss some things and or point out a couple of things that maybe you're doing, and you say, okay, you want us to check it out or whatever, we can do it that way as well.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I got a couple of things that I could probably release. Yeah, I have some mixes in work that when it comes down to revision, I would share it.
Okay, cool. That sounds good, man. Hey, man, what kind of guitar is that back there on the back wall?
Man, that was a bass that I set up for the bass player gave it to me. It's I don't know, it's a PV Foundation.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I haven't played that thing, and that's been sitting there for a while. I could probably change the strings on it, and if I ever get a record that I can play it on, I don't know. But it's just kind of sitting there as eye candy now.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, that's something else that I want to get into too, is maybe getting folks on here and get them interacting live, even with their instruments and stuff like that, myself included. I've been forcing myself to pick up the guitar again, and I still suck right now because I haven't got my skills back, but they're coming back a little bit. I see it's like, okay, if you just make yourself do it every day a little bit, or more often than not, your fingers will start acting right after a while. So I figure by the end of the year I should have something halfway decent where I'm not embarrassed to play in front of everybody, So I want to get more people on here where we can all do little interactive stuff like that, and as well as check out engineering stuff. We check out and improve on musician stuff as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Who else?
As long as I don't have to keep a beat, I'll yeah.
Do you play, Joseph?
Oh yeah, I play a lot.
Yeah.
Whenever I have a chance, I do. I do scales at least 10 minutes a day.
Oh, okay. What do you play? Guitar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything with strings. I pretend I play the piano sometimes.
Cool. What about you, Mike? Do you play anything?
Yeah, bass, guitar, synthesizers.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, yeah. So we could do this, guys. We could do this.
Mm.
Yeah, jam session.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm. I slow my internet down. That way I can blame it on latency.
Right.
Dave, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you were talking about those microphones that you're using in that setup, what microphones did you end up using?
I think though, in that particular thing, we called out for basically a Electro Voice Endyme microphone. I think it's like a 67. I forget the number, but it looks just like Evie's version of a SM58. But it's a really good mic. It's a really good mic. But I have my own mic collection. I bring in and I have like a RE20 and an SM7, and the SM7 is kind of like the standard broadcast radio mic that we kind of all grew up having to learn how to get a sound from. So that's kind of what I use as the judgment thing.
Got it.
But it really, when you're given situations like that and you literally have no EQ, like the console has no equalizer, there's no, on your individual channel strip, there's no low, mid, high, there's no aux in. It's just raw audio, like Khaliq was saying. It's the purest signal possible. It really is where you get to hear the electronics of the mic and the moment and everything that's going on. So.
Got it. So you'd have to patch something in between that if you wanted to.
Yeah, you'd have to go into
that sound.
You'd have to hit it directly from the mic.
Got it. Mm-hmm. That's really interesting.
And the interface, Dave, is as well as it being the routing thing. That's where the preamp is located, or the preamp is in the back of the board where you have the Ethernet connectors.
Yeah. The interface is the board. The board is when you go out USB, you plug that in your computer. It'll actually see it as a DAC. They'll see it as a A to D.
What about the preamps itself for the microphones and stuff?
Yeah, the preamps are inside the console.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you said you have to adjust them with like little pots with the screwdriver.
I have to make a special connector to get to it, and then I have to use a special screwdriver just to turn it up and set the gain, and then I patch over. Once I get into it, to get out of it and into a channel, I got to patch with an Ethernet.
Oh wow, it's deep. Do you have any inserts anywhere?
No.
Straight in, wire with gain, straight in, plug it in, straight through, and listen.
Mm-hmm. That's probably why they had to have such a powerful limiters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could be.
Could be. And catching it on the end of the signal, the final thing, as opposed to the individual channels.
Sure.
Like, we ain't trying to get that deep.
Right.
Yeah. If you gain stage your signal flow properly, this should go in clean and come out clean.
Right.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool.
Well, we got it easy with digital.
Yeah.
Heck, man.
Digital makes you not lazy, but you get used to the choices digital gives you.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to really practice gain staging. I think if there's anything as an engineer that saved me, it's understanding gain staging.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it's all said and done, even if you don't use any of your EQ, before you can use your EQ, you got to make sure you got clear signal.
Right.
So in situations like where it's live and you're going in and you don't know what the condition of the console is, it looks like a console, but you don't know how many channels are blown out. You don't know how many channels have bad pots on them. You might have to use something, and one side of your keyboard is fine and the other side is intermittent. So you might have to create a gain stage situation that allows you to have a left and right. I've had all kinds of crazy things happen, but gain staging was the thing that saved me.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to go through that because, like, for example, with the API, the op amps, well, the great sounding op amps, but every now and then when they start going squirrely, and you're wondering why one side, like you said, is one way, and then the other side is not quite matching up to it, but it looks like it should be matched, then, we end up, when it gets taken apart, and it always comes down to, okay, that op amp died or went off spec or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, we can. I've got something that I wanted to bring up, and that was regarding a story you guys told last week. And you mentioned somebody that was sitting in that would come. They needed a triangle. He came in and said, "Man, this song needs some triangle."
Yep.
He did this every
session.
Right. Okay. Well, you know what that made me think of, which this has already been on my mind. When the Pensado Awards started talking about it, they put feelers out, like a questionnaire. Do we need another award show type stuff? I guess that was to get feedback, obviously. Well, I've been having a problem, even from day one, with getting, I paid $250, and I didn't go to the show. I donated my ticket. I knew a month and ahead, so I called I emailed their Karen somebody, I don't remember now, and asked her to donate, my ticket to somebody. That would be really nice. Well, anyway, my point is this: that I almost feel like the dude with the triangle by putting this. This IBM, whatever it is, they're giving you this little symbol that you can plaster on your web page, and it says you're a co-producer. You got credit. And it's like, I showed up at one meeting because there was only one meeting. I said hi to everybody, didn't do jack shit because they pretty much already had it done, right? And it was just sort of like a fireside chat. It really wasn't, input from anybody because they had it figured out already, right? Now here I am. You get where I'm coming from right now, don't you, Dave?
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I feel like the guy with the
choose my words.
yeah. I think it's BS basically.
Here's the thing. And you're right for how you're feeling. Yeah, there is a certain part about it that is BS, as you put it.
Unethical on my part.
It's very unethical and suspect. I think what you have to look at, and I'm not saying this to justify it, because I'm not really for it myself. I'm just saying you have to look at, in this day and age, what people try and do, aside from getting the word out and doing what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out how to monetize their particular situation. Okay, so in monetizing it, they understand that there's a large community of people who want to participate, but what they lack is credibility. Now, it is true, you cannot sell credibility. Credibility needs to be earned. But when they do that, it's kind of like doing something wrong and waiting. What do they say? I'll do what I want to do, and if I have to apologize later, cool. But they know it's wrong. They know it has no meaning, but they'll do it. That just speaks to kind of sometimes what's at the core of it, or somebody there at the core of what they're doing is okay with that kind of thing. You cannot sell, IMDb credits, and I guess you can, and maybe they don't call it selling it, but I know what you're saying. You feel funny about the whole reality of that experience, and rightfully so, because you're on the phone on these calls with a lot of people who, Khaliq, myself, a lot of the other people he brings on. We've spent time doing stuff, trying to give y'all our experiences, but it was not easy to get a chance to even work consistently, let alone be fortunate enough to be on a part of some things that went big. So I think It's everybody is an individual. It's your own moral imperative that you have to work from. You have to have a line that you don't cross. You understand, okay, cool, I got this thing I can work with. I think donating your ticket is a great thing. I think they probably could have had it probably better organized, and I think maybe the IMDb thing, maybe they'll think next time that probably is another way that you could do that, and not have it be so sincerely insincere. Okay? Is that a good way to put it? I'm trying to be politically correct.
No, I definitely catching on to what you're saying. I was more coming from, my
it bothers you. It bothers you. Yeah.
It comes. Yeah. I worked really hard the last 9 years.
Yeah.
To get out in my community and find a niche that I felt comfortable with, and that's with disabled folks and mostly military. And I mean, heck, I recorded "Happy Birthday" about 350 times, man.
Hey,
which is great,
Yeah,
but it made me feel good, Yeah. Well, it doesn't feel real. For the first time. See, I avoided this shit like the plague. The whole internet and having us. I don't have a footprint. I got maybe a toe print. On the internet.
Hey, man.
So now here I am gonna break down my barrier and say I'm gonna get online now, and I actually have. I'll put a page up. And I'm going to stick the symbol there, and it don't feel right to me. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Whether it's personal.
I understand. I think that's a personal thing. I think, you can look at it, like I said, look at it for what it is. It's somebody's attempt at monetization and digital legitimization. It's no different sometimes than, look, man, I'm not a big person who believes in what do they call themselves? You pay the money, you go to Pro Tools class, and you say, I have a certificate, I'm a certified Pro Tools wizard, right?
Sure.
I'm not a big believer in waving paper in front of people's face and going, I'm certified. Because at the cost of a Pro Tools system, the minute I bought it, I'm certified in my camp. Because I got to now work and make the money and make that thing pay itself back. So
you had a certified check.
Right. So I don't need any digital attaboy or digital way to go to be able to be okay about using something I spent my money on. I think a lot of times what's happening now, people are selling perceived access, or they're selling the perception of being in the club. The dangerous part is this. We're all independents who talk on this phone and chat, right? The nature of the business is that it spawned independence. Okay, independence is a great thing because it gives birth to everybody's ideas. The problem when you get groups that's here's a group, inevitably if you start a group, there's going to be a group inside the group that says they want to be special, right? We want to be special. We're a little bit smarter than the rest. We dress a little bit nicer. We do this, and so inevitably, what you have is a caste system begin to develop inside of this community of micro users, right?
Yes.
And you were just trying to say, "Hey, groovy baby, we all do music and recording, right?" It can't happen because the way people are, you're gonna get a group thing, and you're gonna get all the foibles and flaws that people have that come out. Part of that is going to be the people who feel like they can pay their way in and do this, and they want to sell things that that's like me. I understand how inane it is to say, hey, yeah, okay, now I'm going to sell you this sticker. You can't sell. Look, we can't go out and buy Grammy stickers, right? We have to have a certificate on the wall or a trophy on the thing to say we participated in a Grammy-winning project. That's what makes you a Grammy-winning engineer. Not, I got a sticker. I went to this thing and he said I can stick it on. So the next time you go to a high-power meeting and you got a chance to work, you whip out your co-producer sticker and you say, well, I need to produce, damn it. I just produced an award show in L.A. And you start talking that shit, trying to convince somebody that you got a place in, this is what it comes to, because there are some people who are that nutty you know, that you have to like put the reins on and go, wait, whoa, this is what this is, you know. And right now, you know, in our community, when people step up to the line and say, I'm a this, I'm a that, I have information for you, the first thing everybody does is run to IMDb and run here and they count this. Well, I got this, I got more mixes than him. I know a guy right now, really talented engineer. And every time he would see somebody teaching or doing something, he would instantly IMDb them and count how many they had versus how many he had, but he wasn't teaching. And my thing was like, man, here, I'm going to get you a gig teaching. Here, go here, teach for a little bit so you can see what it's like. Because there's a point at which if you're sitting up here counting what everybody has, thinking that you win because you got more, that's not where it's at. You know, you can IMDb me. It's not going to come up with everything that I did because I was doing stuff before they was counting like that. Okay, do I feel bad and go, oh, man, I'm not really an engineer. I don't have as much as Johnny. You know, and hell, I don't even have a sticker like you, man. So what do I quit? Is everything I did an accident? No, man, no. Everybody has the ability to do this. Everybody has the ability to understand and learn. When you know you're doing this, when we're doing here talking right now, somewhere in the world there's a bunch of people just doing their own thing and they're getting off and they're doing a great job and there's nobody looking. And the whole thing is, man, this thing of audio is just like any other skilled profession, man, that everybody can do it, and it's such a good personal experience when you get off into it because you can really make it your own. You think about it. No two people have the same hearing signature. Right? Yep. So it is a unique experience unto each one of us what we're able to do once we get the knowledge of physics and understand the physics and the things associated with sound, and we understand about music, we understand about recording, we understand about DAW. Once we put it all together, it's about us as individuals. And then when we start to mix it up, it's about who we are as people and how we relate to folks. There's a lot of things that aren't discussed, and they don't, you know, an IMDb sticker don't mean you cool. You know, I'd much rather get calls and have my phone ring because I'm cool and people want to have me in the room when they're doing something than I've got 17 now. Hey, Mom, I'm on 18 tomorrow. No, man, it's not. You know, that means you're coming from the wrong place because at the end of the day, like Khaliq says, it's not about you. It's not, we here to serve the songs, man. We're here to serve the songs. We're here to serve the artists. We're here to, you know, it's a service-oriented business. So we're here to serve people, man, and it's not at all this thing of counting and, you know, I mean, I used to do this thing, man, and it was, and this was out of just being young, right? So I started at a time where there were not a lot of people that looked like me doing what I was doing. One of the things I did when I started and I went independent was I had my own tool rig, and I had all this stuff. And I think I told you guys this before, but every time I get a call, I take every one of my cases out with all the tools. So the minute I showed up, I had so much shit that nobody could say anything because they didn't have as much shit as me. Right? Because I wanted to shut the mouth of anybody who said, who is he and what's he doing here? So my way to neutralize it was to just bring all my stuff out because I knew all the stuff and I knew how to use every bit of it. Did I need to take it? No, not really. Was it convenient? Yeah, it was cool. It helped me out because I damn near had Radio Shack in my truck. And so what happened was I
can co-sign that too.
Yeah, he co-signed because he helped me carry that. So
I got a bad back to this day.
But I did that out of being young and trying to figure out a way to get to where I wanted to go without encountering the mess that existed when I tried to do what I wanted to do. And so because I'm independent, I have that spirit in me that never likes to see counters. I don't like people that count, you know. You know, I went to an event last night. I was the only cat there, you know. It's like, well, how was the event though? How was the event? Right. You know, but this is a dialogue that happens. If you're gonna go and enjoy it. Don't go to count. I went to church and I was only five of us there. You know, it's like, well, man, come on, man. How was church? You know. And it's a part of life, man. It's a part of life. And so I think sometimes these things where we're watching people try to reestablish themselves or try to figure out an angle in the digital age, it will sometimes come head to head with who you are personally, and it will touch you in such a way where you're like you are right now, where you don't feel right about it. And you got every right not to feel right about it. You know, I think your counteraction to not feeling right is to go ahead and say, you know what, give my ticket to somebody regardless. You know, and you realize, you know what, I'm not going to get them to change their way. You know, for all I know, next time they might be selling IMDb credits. They might be selling, you know, who knows, man? Who knows? Because at the end of the day, that's what some people do. Is it right? No, you know, no. Because a lot of times people don't want to debate right and wrong. They want to exist in their own kind of dogma. Mm-hmm. And that's part of what's going on today too. In order to create business trends, do whatever you want to do, they have to create their own dogma and follow it, and they got to be committed to it. You know, until such time, I don't know if IMDb is an organization or is somebody who I think they would probably have a different opinion about somebody openly selling the use of that on the open market. I think they would have a big something to say about it. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you can really do that. You know, that's a pretty, you know, selling validation is a pretty heavy thing, especially when you don't own that aspect. And I believe IMDb is an owned entity. You know, I don't know. Is it, Khaliq?
Well, I'm not sure, but I've got a little in addition to what Dave is saying from a slightly different viewpoint too, because like taking the IM database for example, I've been contacting them for years and trying to tell them that this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. You don't have this, you don't have this, or you know, and then they got a couple things that I didn't do that, you know, but it's on here. So after a while, it's just like, okay, it is what it is. And as far as like what you were mentioning, as far as you know, getting the sticker and all that to say that, you know, and put the stamp of approval on you because you participated. Well, what you have to realize, like I said, I kind of look at this and take all this stuff with a grain of salt, because this is uncharted territory for everybody now. It's a new digital age, and like Dave was saying too, see, all of this is you know, these are different marketing ploys and things like that. Yeah. It reminds me back to, I mean, for example, and Dave and I used to have these conversations when they had all the Pro Tools certification schools, certification programs and everything. So we knew what it was about, because it's like the bottom line is we've known hundreds of people, if not even into the thousands, who have gotten certifications and still could not walk into a studio and actually do some work, you know. But I get why, you know, it's a new age. Pro Tools came out, somebody found an angle. Hey, let's create a program and certify people in this to say that you're, you know, a certified Pro Tools operator and user, not realizing the important thing is you got to actually know how to make music is the more important thing. This is the same thing with this sticker situation and things like that. I just look at it like it's no different than when we see all these things on something that comes out and it says sponsored by, you know, when we watch TV or whatever. Those people are not involved in that necessarily. It's no different than like the new age now. Now we have Kickstarter, for example, and so you get me, if you get me $100,000 and everything, your name will be part of this Kickstarter thing, saying, you know, you're a sponsor and everything. People give $1. That's just what it is now. It's a creative way to find the way through the maze of this new uncharted territory. Get a way to get funded, get a way to get credibility, and like you said, you can't buy credibility for real, but they sure enough will sell it to you. They sell you what you can't really buy, you know. So that's the thing, you know, that's always the danger out here. This is the world that we're in, and we've seen variations on this theme throughout history. We've seen it decades ago. We see it now. I mean, hell, we talk about the IM database. Well, let's take Wikipedia, for example. Wikipedia is now considered like the de facto place of getting truth, but Wikipedia is a user-created a database of information encyclopedia that has a whole bunch of stuff that ain't true at all. It's just somebody decided to throw some stuff up there and say this is it. And then the rest of the world comes and adds their little spin on it, and suddenly that becomes truth. You know, every now and then somebody will come in and put some real truth and correct it if somebody was way off. But Wikipedia started out as just people putting up anything. Anybody could put anything on Wikipedia. Now it is, you don't even see Encyclopedia Britannica anymore or anything like that. People go to Wikipedia and accept it as truth and fact. When in reality, that's not what it is. It's just the age we're in, man. So I'd say don't feel bad about that little badge. You know, take it for whatever it is and keep on doing what you're doing. The real stuff in the trenches with folks. You know, that's what matters.
And a good example of that is I'm in my kitchen right now, right? And if I go to cook something and I don't have anything, can you help me co-produce some groceries? If so, I can give one of my daughter's stickers.
Hey, nice, man. I like that.
Come on, we can co-produce some groceries,
he broke out the Hello Kitty sticker.
You can get one of the Hello Kitty stickers, and you can put it on your website too. Hello Kitty might sue me, but
you too can have this.
Hey, do I got to pay you $5?
Yeah. But you co-produce some groceries, man.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's okay. Like I said, we're in a digital age where people are trying to find out how to, you know, navigate through this whole maze of things. That people come up with creative ways of dealing with some things and all that. Like I said, take it all with a grain of salt, because the bottom line is for us, it's always about music. Let's create music and create connections with real people and everything. It ain't about awards. It ain't about stickers. It ain't about all that other stuff. It's about let's get to making the real music, communicating for real, and people. That's always going to be your best credibility, man. You know, that's why people have been dealing with you and will deal with you, because they get the one-on-one. You know. Heck, most people, like Dave was saying, like most people don't have a clue as to, say, what we have done for the most part. They only maybe for the things, you know, and heck, I don't even remember half the stuff I did. And I told the story previously about when we was in the studio with Herbie and Will I Am and all that, and Will broke out some stuff on his in iTunes and started playing it, and Herbie was grooving along and said, "Hey man, I like that cat. Who's that keyboard player? Who is that player?" And Will look at him like, "Man, that's you." He done so much stuff he don't even know. You know what I'm saying? So you don't even trip on it, man. It's about the music. Do what you're doing good, and these other things. I think these awards and stuff like that are great for the fact that they're recognizing the side that has been totally ignored and pushed off to the side as being just irrelevant. So, you know, over the years it may become more and more. I have no idea where and how to go, but I'm glad it's a new category that's at least being explored, because we didn't even get consideration previously. You know, so you know, it's all good.
You know, my point was really, you know, more based on, and I guess my perception. All right, if I open a web page and I see somebody really putting a lot of emphasis on their sticker, I'm gonna immediately know that unless they live in California, right by there, chances are they didn't do jack, just like me.
Well, check it out. Here's another metaphor, right. Joseph. Check this out, though. Okay. You go to websites and everything, and do you ever do online shopping?
Yeah, I do for some small stuff. Yeah.
If you look at the bottom of any page, they got this big hacker safe sticker on the bottom.
Yeah,
you know.
There you go.
Do you really think these people have went out and checked to be sure that they can fight all hackers?
No, they do the best they can. That's it.
Yeah. No. All it is they went. There's a place that you can go on to buy that sticker. That's all it is. That's all it is. You know, I can buy a hacker safe sticker right now if I got money in my PayPal and I go to the site. You can buy that so that you can put their sticker on. They ain't checked nothing, bro.
Yeah.
But this is the age we're in. This is what's up. But see, the thing is, when people see that they believe it. So when you see that hacker safe, you relax a little bit. When all these companies say we will not share your email, we hate spam as much as anybody, but you still end up getting tons of spam some kind of way. When I never opt into anything that has it, but for some kind of way, I get, especially if I have a unique email that I just use especially for that. All these places have promised it, and by the way, I make sure I don't do it because I believe in being in integrity. If I say I'm not going to give your email, I don't do it. But there's a lot of people that don't care. They just know that people like to see it, so I'm gonna put it on there. It's funny, man.
On the Pensados thing, though, I mean, I thought it was a great effort, and I think they went out of their way in the very, very beginning stages to let you know that, hey, look, we are trying to raise money. This is a big thing that we're undertaking. It's not going to come out of Dave's pocket. It's not coming out of hers pocket. We're trying to get these sponsors to invest and believe in it, and if you want to buy into it, I donated. I think I don't think I went up to producer level, but I donated twice. I did my first $25 thing, and then as it started building, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and give them another $125, and good luck. Hopefully it'll get big in a little bit. So, I mean, I can't remember what my level was, but I still haven't got my T-shirt and mug. I'm not. I'm not complaining. You know what I mean? But I thought in the very beginning he made it very clear, hey, look, we need your help. And if you help us, we're going to give you this sticker.
And I think that was a great thing too, man, because it was about, it's like I said, this is uncharted territory. This has never been done for us before. So it's like, it would not be fair to have to come out. So I really did like you said, I look at it more like a Kickstarter type thing or something like that. Just help support this. We need some money and some support, and for that we'll give you this. It's a perception thing. We know that, so I don't even worry about whether this is a real thing, whether I really produced this or really did that, or it goes way beyond this. Hopefully if this goes year after year after year and grows and everything, that's the most important thing, of giving it the ability to continue.
No, I hope it does. And I'm all for it. I do. It was just strictly my feeling on if I'm going to post that sticker when I have a page. Is somebody going to take me serious, or are they going to think about it just like I'm thinking about it? I bought some credibility. I hang out with Dave once a week, online. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't want to overthink it, but
I hear you. But as long as you do good work, you'll be fine, man.
Right.
Yeah. Just don't overthink it. Take it for what it is, man. It's it's a marketing tactic. It's something that somebody's doing, whether or not it has veracity and that actually is something that's legitimate. We don't know. You can't go that deep. It's something they did in an effort to raise money, and I think in the long run, if you gave, my viewpoint is, if you give anything, if you give to somebody who's got a sign on the street, the Lord loves a happy and cheerful giver. If you was happy and cheerful when you gave, then that's all it matters.
Couldn't say it any better than that. That's the best way.
It comes back to you. It comes back to you because the larger picture is not Dave and Herb and whatever happens with that. The larger picture is there's now a community of people that gets together, and the catalyst for it might have been that. With all the things that happen, they're good. There's some bad things that try and tag along, and every now and then you just got to say, hey, you know what? The overall picture, the cumulative effect is worth more than these little prejudicial events that happen, right? These little things where you're not feeling right about that. Well, you know what? Don't take that all the way. Don't give it a 10. Give it a 1. You got the sticker. Don't use it. Okay? Put it in the drawer. Pull it out if you get the IMDb conversation at the bar, or if you get, use it as you see fit. Don't let it bother you. But
I got a coin for that, man.
Yeah, but give support things that you want to support because it's within you to do, and I think that's the bigger lesson there, and as you go along, you'll learn some more, and you'll see some more things used. Like Khaliq said, these are nothing but marketing tactics. You know, a lot of the people that you guys look at and see, a lot of, you know, you got to look at this aspect. And I know I'm probably going to get a bunch of hate mail, but I'm going to just say, at this time in history, in our industry, we're looking at people who have been through the process, they've done their work, and they are now trying to get the last bits of organizational accolade that they can get, because coming up while it was going on, the system of acknowledgement never existed.
Right.
And it didn't exist to point out whether somebody was good, to say, hey, this is so-and-so, he did so-and-so, this is so-and-so, he did so-and-so. There are now, numerically, so many people online dealing with learning audio, learning mixing, learning everything, that it doesn't matter who did what. We can go out now and go sit down, and out of 10 people that we meet, 4 will possibly not know who the Beatles are. You understand that? In our lifetime, we can go out somewhere and somebody will not know who James Brown was. They won't know who, you name it, Eric Clapton is, you name it. It is chronologically moving that fast, where there's a whole lot of stuff that we have to focus on. And so when you see these little things, you're looking at one segment that's been in the game for a long time. Everybody who gets accolade, you got to look at, they've been around, they've done a lot of records. They're still doing what they're doing, so they're trying to now enter into this area where there's now light shined on what they were doing. All the time they were doing their great records, there wasn't always light shined on it.
Right.
And so they're trying to cash in too. So they have to be creative. Everybody, as independents, you got to be creative. That's one of the, what do you call it? One of the characteristics of being independent. You have to be extremely creative with how you get your work, do your work, talk about your work, share your work, support your work, and get more work. You got to be your own PR department. Look, man, and it's a tactic. It is a tactic. You know, I'm a member of the Grammys, and they always send notes to us. Hey, tell us what you're doing. Tell us what you're doing. I'm never going to tell them what I'm doing till it's done. Till it's done, because I don't know about you fishing in my lake. That's just me. That's just me. Now, maybe it might seem unfriendly or whatever, but the bottom line is, look, man, there's a whole bunch of cats who they call one another for. I was never in that line. I was in the other line. I was in the line on the special bus, and I got the jacked up one microphone as opposed to the full-blown collection from AKG, right? So I had to make the jacked up one work. And so my thing is, like, you've got to govern your career and govern your whole thing with what you feel works for you. Like I said, when you give from the heart, and give because it's something that you feel you want to support. Don't let individuals or little things that happen jade you from the overall goodness that you get from a situation. You know, I might not agree with everything that you know, Herb stands for or Dave stands for, but because they're bringing light to an area that didn't have light, let them do what they're going to do. Let them do what they're going to do. You know, and that's anybody. You know, somebody's not going to agree with my perspective, and they're going to think I'm full of shit. And that's good. That's good. That's what it's all about. You know, I mean, at the end of the day, we got so much ground we still have to cover, especially those of us who have been around, because what are we trying to do? We're all trying to remain relevant in the marketplace. We're all trying to remain relevant in the marketplace. And so, you know, the credit thing, yeah. I'm glad you said something about it. I'm glad you're the type of person who was bothered to where it caused you to utter your words today. To me, that shows you got some thought what was going on. You understand, okay, cool, yeah, but this still don't seem right. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. As somebody who, you know, who just wonders, man, is that okay? Can you do that? I appreciate you turning the lights on and showing me somebody was home.
Word.
Yeah.
Hey,
Right.
Joe, though, there is one thing that you can buy that will give you credibility, and there is one thing, and I'm gonna show it to you right now. It's this right here.
There you go.
There you go.
There you go.
You invest $25, $30, and that
hold on for a second. You can always now for a little bit more you can get the deluxe edition.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's for folks who really got to get it together. I wrote a really big Texas style version.
Got it.
You got them little sandwiches things, you know, on the front and the back. You walk down the street with. You got credibility.
You know, it's a fun thing, Jason. There's a friend of mine who wrote a book. He's from Atlanta. His name is Khaliq-O Jones.
No, I haven't met him yet.
Khaliq-O Jones has a book called Music Business That Matters, or look him up, Khaliq-O Jones. He's in Atlanta. That book is very good. It's probably one of the few books that really shows you how to monetize your career inside of a hip hop construct.
Huh.
So it talks about beats and everything, publishing, all the stuff. But he breaks it down in a really good way. Really good book. I suggested to a lot of people. But he's based out of Atlanta.
All right, yeah, I'll look him up. Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh no, but on a serious note, I mean, you know, you talked about the Avid certifications. Now I'm certified up into the expert level, the most recent one. But the one thing I tell my students and a lot of people is I stopped even mentioning it because even after I've earned the expert level, every time I go into the studio, I can't just blurt that out. I have to earn that tag every single session. And, you know, I paid, you know, I went to school and I have access to the curriculum, but, you know, and I take the exam and I passed it. I tell a lot of people that's basically what it is. You were able to pass an exam. And, but, you know, I use it to my advantage because I can go into a session and work the session, but I have to earn that certification every single day.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. That's cool. Some people are crazy enough, though. They'll show up and be asking everybody, so are you certified? Are you certified? Just because they want to take the test, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Cool.
No, that makes sense. It does.
Oh, yeah.
Don't fret, sir.
Thanks for the plug, Jason. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I'll be sending you out a sticker.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you remind me of Graham Kerr, man.
What'd you say, Joe?
I told Joseph, don't get jealous.
Dave reminds me of Graham Kerr over there in the kitchen. Remember him, the Galloping Gourmet, man.
Yeah.
But he's the gourmet.
For the obits.
Fantastic.
Well, gentlemen, I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. Unless anybody got any final stuff, I think it's good. It's cool today, so we'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right,
cool. I'll get my SoundCloud tested, and you know, maybe the next time or in a couple weeks, man, we'll get that rolling, and that'll be fun. That'll be
hey,
real
Jason,
fun.
yeah, shoot me an email, man, and why don't we do this? Shoot me an email, and maybe we can do some tests ahead of time. And also, if you got a session, maybe you can send it to me via Dropbox or something like that, and then we can, you know, see how we can tie in together to do it.
Okay, yes, that'd be great.
Yeah.
This is, what is this called? Mayflower? Soundflower.
Soundflower. If you have a Mac, yeah.
Okay, what if you have a PC?
PC, I don't think has. Yeah, it's something else that you have to use. Basically, all it is it's basically a digital patch bay inside of your system that'll allow you to route it through audio and stuff like that, rather than what's built.
So I'm using HD, so I don't know. I have to do some tests. Maybe I have to kick it over to a native system.
You know what? I think you do. If you're using HD, either that or what you would probably have to do with HD is come out of your interface and plug it into the analog inputs of the computer.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Yeah.
I'll just bypass the card for the session. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, bypass. If you have what what are you using? Pro Tools?
Yeah, I'm Pro Tools HD. HD. I'm on an HDX system, but
Which one? 10?
10 and
11?
11. I'm bouncing back and forth.
Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, that way, yeah, yeah. You gotta, yeah, use, yeah, the native.
Yeah, I'll just go like make an arrogant IO and just bypass the cards. It'll be fine.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because that's what I used when I because I have a native HD system, and it worked in there. So yeah, and I
Okay.
don't even think I had to. I don't even think did I have to do an aggregate IO. I'm not. I can't remember what I did, but whatever I did, it worked. It worked out fine. Because I wasn't even using Soundflower. I was going through a different way.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Cool.
we'll do some tests and figure it out, and that way we can get in and show some stuff and bounce some stuff back and forth and everything. I think that'd be real helpful.
Good
All right,
deal.
most definitely.
All right, buddy. Okay, well, everybody, y'all have a wonderful day, and we're out of here. Let's check you out on the next one.
Nice
Yes, sir.
meeting you, Michael.
Yeah, Mike. Look out for the next one. And Michael, get on. If you're not on Google Plus,
Yeah,
get
I think
on.
I just friended, or what do they call it in here? You're in my circle now. So
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
yeah, I'll keep an eye out for the next hangout, and I'll try to drop in.
Cool.
Excellent.
And shoot me an email with your Google Plus information so I can be sure and put it in that it gets there. Because I have two accounts. One is this one where I'm doing the Hangouts, and I have another one where I'm basically it's more for my personal.
Okay,
So I want to make sure you're in this one. Okay.
cool.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
nice meeting everybody. Take care.
Cool,
All right,
cool.
take
And
care,
MT,
everybody.
even though we couldn't hear you, we got you on here, man. You hung on out. Yeah, get the mic and camera soon, man. We'll catch you.
Take it easy.
The next one's on Sunday. So we'll catch you guys at noon on Sunday. Sundays and Thursdays is when we usually try to do it.
All right, gentlemen.
Later on. Peace.
Good holiday.